We are now live. Happy Spiritual Sunday to all of you. Welcome. Yay. Okay. Meanwhile, just close your eyes, open your heart, because it's going to be hopefully a very deep but moving lesson this morning. But I think it's time, we all start waking up. We gotta stand back and really see the world for what it is. The beauty that I think we have the blessing of knowing Kabbalah. We learn here in the center, as we talked a little last week, this is, a line of great Kabbalists all the way back to Adam and Eve, technically. And so, over the years, there's always people kind of waking people up. What's a biblical prophet? If you go back to that, if you read in the Bible about the prophets, essentially the main thing they were doing was doing what? Waking people up. Wake up, realize what you're doing, look what power you have, look how you're misusing your power, all these things. Even the quote unquote repent. But Kabbalistically, we know repent doesn't mean say you're sorry to God. Repent means make up for, like clean your mess. Any of you parents? I'll bet you never, ever, ever told your children, clean up your mess. Right? Yeah, that's a different issue, whether it works or not, right? But you tell them to clean up their mess. Why do you tell them to clean up their mess? Because you understand it used to be clean, neat, and orderly. They came in and threw things around. So you don't say, that's it, chaos is forever, we'll never be able to fix it. You tell them, you were able to make a mess, so you are also able, if you'll make the effort, to undo the mess, put it back to its perfect order. So why can't we do that with the world? That's what I realized, okay. Well, let's do our affirmation before I start going into the talk. And welcome to Hong Kong. Look at this. We got Hong Kong, Portland already, Cape Town, Macedonia. We're all over the world. Okay. So let's see, for you here. For you online, we're going to do our affirmation. Adding to the power of the light, waking up the light inside of us. So we say it together. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. And unfortunately, the more chaos comes into the world, the harder it is to do that, is it not? To really have love, kindness, compassion for all human beings. And here and there I've mentioned recently, we need to feel the pain of the soul that's inside the body that's doing rape, robbery, murder, thievery, all that stuff. Because the soul is still pure and perfect. The Creator can only create perfection. So the issue is, like we'll talk a little more today, how we use that power we've been given. So, before I came to the center, I was involved, I've shared over the years, I was involved in different spiritual teachings. I was teaching until, they finally led me to the Kabbalah Center. And so we used to have a saying, maybe some of you heard it. When you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, then you'll do something about it. So I wanted to just wake up in us, and thank God, probably most of us, we all have various types of chaos, difficulties, challenges. But I don't know any of us who are sitting in a war zone, or a place where there's drive-by shootings, whatever, 4, 5, 10 times an evening. So what our challenge is to feel as if we're in a war zone, so we'll do something about it actually before anything terrible does happen. That's the key. Medicine in the last number of years, although technically I guess it was always, at least Chinese medicine, was always the idea prevention is easier than cure. So when are we going to start taking that in the spiritual level? Prevention is easier than cure. Doesn't mean it's easy. Nothing is easy. We didn't come into this world for, the easy thing. We came to be to make an effort, to exert yourself. Like anything that you decide you want to achieve in life, you have to exert yourself in one way or another, do you not? Whether it's business, health, relationships, whatever, driving, you have to make an effort to learn how to drive. And like my kids often reminded me as I was teaching them to drive, they'd look at me and say, but you don't always do that. You don't always do that. I'm telling them, teaching them ways and means to be safe, to look out, keep on constant vigil. Who's doing what, who's moving around you, and make sure that you're driving courteously. So if people want to get around you, pass you, whatever it is, they're not going to be angry at you and now start tailgating you. Better you move to the right and let them go. Even if you're going 90 and they want to go 120, let them go. Don't just say, well, no, and I know people like that. I'm in the left lane. I'm doing the speed limit. I don't care. But you and I understand spiritually, those people with all that negative energy coming out of their eyes has an impact on people. Evil eye. It's ancient as humanity. So we all understand, that negative energy from whatever, anger, jealousy, ego, fear, etc. So don't bother. Don't do that. So sometimes we get so caught up and comfortable. Here we are. Yes, it's terrible what's going on in the world, but I'm comfortable. I'm okay. Yeah, I got a little challenges. So the opponent making us look at our little challenge, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, or in that way, but relative to being in a war zone and having a bomb drop on somebody's house or somebody's car or something like that. I mean, can we really compare our difficulties to that? We may feel sometimes. I won't deny that. Sometimes people feel, they used to say, sometimes if my room was in my order, which meant my mother's disorder, right? She'd tell me it looked like a hurricane or a tornado came through here or a bomb went off, those kinds of things. So we use those terms, but thank goodness it wasn't real. It wasn't real. So it's time for us to really start making use. We say it every week. This is why we have to keep reminding ourselves. Consciousness is everything. There's nothing outside of our consciousness. Everything else that we see with our five senses, according to the Kabbalists, is what we'd call an illusion. Now, that doesn't mean it's not real. It doesn't mean it's not impacting us. What does the illusion mean? And so we always go to this simple idea. If you go to a movie with 3 friends, do you all have the same opinion of the movie? Usually. No, often you have different opinion, but you looked at the same movie. If the stock market goes up, the Rav used to use, the stock market goes up, is it good for everybody? Oh no, there are people who, whatever they call, sell short or buy short or whatever it's called, right? They're betting that it'll go down. So if it goes up, they're losing. So that's the illusion. You can't just say XYZ is the same for everybody. There's only one thing that's the same for every human being on earth. Number one, the soul. The soul is identical in every human being, of the same material from the same creator, has one operating system. How we operate it, that's our free will. That's it. That's up to us, like your phone. Same operating system, every whatever, Android or whatever the different ones are, same operating system, but what you do with it is up to you. And if you make a mistake, it's also up to you. Who made the mistake? I know. Now we have somebody, the voice on the phone, now we can blame them. Oh, no, it wasn't me. It was whatever the name they call it. You follow? No, it's still, if I push the wrong button, it's programmed cause and effect. I push 3, it goes 3. I push 4, it goes 4. I'm trying to get the L and it goes to the M. It's not the phone's fault or the computer. It's me. I mistyped it. Or I pushed the wrong button. So we have to start understanding consciousness is the beginning and the end of everything. What goes on out there is the effect of what goes on from inside that drives our actions. So let's go back and put ourselves all on the same page in case we have some new people here. Oh, look at this. We got London. We got Las Vegas. Good. I'm glad you're with us and not in the casinos. Right? Better. At least I'll give you better luck if you do go. Of course, good luck could mean that you lose and give it up. Good luck could mean you... Never mind. That's the illusion. Okay. So just so we're all on the same page. In the endless world before the Big Bang, the Creator created one soul, a vessel, a container, to put its light, source of lasting fulfillment, the only source of lasting fulfillment, in it. So humanity has one soul, called that vessel, was filled with the light of the Creator. So no human being, no person is missing the light. No person is missing the power, the ability, the potential, the capabilities, the talent to have total and lasting fulfillment. Nobody's missing it. But it's like anything else. You can have the thought in your head and never do it. So you don't really benefit from that, right? That's why they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Because you had a thought to do it, but you didn't do it, so you never benefit. Never benefit. So just want to remind you what's called then disaffinity. Rav Ashlag, the founder of the center, he calls it disaffinity. Sometimes they call it the law of attraction, like attracts like, but that's the essence. If you read some of the books, just so you'll know, that's the same concept as what's called bread of shame. But over the years, people get so caught up in the 1%. What do you mean bread? Why is it bread? What is shame? Because people feel ashamed is different than the concept of bread of shame. So that's why I like to go back to what Rav Ashlag called it, affinity or disaffinity. In other words, two things that are alike are close and draw itself to each other. Things that are unalike, disaffinity, are things that will repel from each other. So that's easy to understand. If a person is in, if a person has jealousy and yet they give charity, are they really in affinity with the idea of charity? No, it's nice to give in this case of charity, but they're not going to get the same blessing. Because the point of charity is to bring illumination, light, support, transformation to the world. So if they're thinking jealous and they're giving, or they're thinking jealous and they're giving somebody a gift for a birthday present or a business thing, you understand? No affinity.
But
So
isn't that better than nothing?
maybe. Better you align. That's what we're learning here. If you're already going to give the gift, at least align yourself with happiness and joy, with being charitable, with being giving, with judging in a good way. Something like that. Don't give resentfully. You understand? Because the person will end up with the energy of resentment, even some of it, and you'll walk away with resentment. So were you really giving a gift? Did you really give blessings? No. So like you said, and it's nice because people will say, oh, good. So Chaim's saying I don't have to give gifts. I don't have to give. I don't have to help. No, not saying that. The opposite. Give with your heart. Give with love. Give with kindness. Give with compassion. Give with care. Because remember, our consciousness creates our life, not their consciousness. That's consciousness is everything. I am creating my life. You are creating your life. So we collectively, in the endless world, because we didn't have affinity, we were the receivers, the creator was the sharer, disaffinity. And that's why you and I, collectively as the one, created this physical world. We created it. We only can use the power of the creator, but we created it. Let me ask you this. Anyone ever make themselves something to eat? I have to be careful because I can go on and I will be here 4 hours. You ever make yourself something to eat? Why don't you just sit down and say, I'll wait till the creator will create it for me. No, but when you get up to make something to eat, what are you really using? You're using the power of the creator. You're using the power of the energy of the light in your soul in order to take something out of the closet or even just put cereal in a bowl with milk. You're using the power of the creator, but you're creating it. So in the same way, just in the macro, we created this physical world with the stars and the planets and all the stuff. Plants, animals, the minerals, the planets, everything. We created it so we would have a place where we could come down and just simply do an action of sharing that puts us in affinity with the creator. The creator shares light 24/7. 24/7. So our job is to share in some way, shape, or form our light 24/7. If we can do that, what will we experience? The same bliss the creator has. Infinite, eternal bliss. That's why we're here. That's why we created this world. So first and foremost, I hope for some of you, and remember, if the creator gave us 100%, we have to fulfill that 100%. So if you've already been appreciative and kind and compassionate and all that, 98%, that's great and wonderful, but you still have 2% more to go, which is why you're going to hear about what shows up in that other piece. So we use our free will. That's what light and vessel. Light means the ability to share, which the creator gave us as, let's call it the second nature. Our inherent nature is vessel, desire to receive. That's why you look at a baby. What is a baby? How does a baby act? Does a baby come out of the mother's womb and say, here, let me help you? Mom, let me take care of you. Stop crying. It's okay. I'm here now. No, baby, give me, give me, give me. Take care of me. Toddler, give me, give me, give me, give me. Teenager, give me, give me, give me, give me. Should I keep going? 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. It's still our inherent nature. Give me, give me, give me. Give me, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. Right? That's our inherent nature. What we came here to do is to exert our soul's energy, the light, to share when we feel like receiving. That's why we say greater love, kindness, and compassion. Because we've already done a certain amount. But let's exert ourselves for the next level so we get the next level of blessing and remove that next level of chaos from our life. Meaning, as we said with the room, putting more order. Right? If you made a real mess, it may take you an hour to put it back in order. But at a half hour, you've got more order and less chaos than you had 30 minutes before that. And if you keep going, you'll have 100% order and no disorder. So think of those simple terms. That's what we're here to do collectively. But free will. And this is where when we came into this world as the one soul, and then we were split into what's called biblically Adam and Eve, two people, because think about it. If there were no two people, if there's only that one being that contained the entire vessel, the one soul of humanity, if that's all there was, who could it share with? So it had to be at least Adam and Eve, two people. So at least there was somebody each could share with. But what does free will, free choice also bring in? Biblically, and we know it's also a metaphor, it's true, we believe that these things did take place. Adam and Eve existed, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but it's also teaching us spiritual lessons. Spiritual lessons. So free will gave us the space to create what we call, or it's called biblically, the snake. Right? You read the Bible, and there was the snake, Adam and Eve, and the snake. And the snake's the one that did what? Hey, Eve, come over here. I got a deal for you. You see this tree of knowledge? It'll make you smarter than God, or at least as smart as God. And doesn't God want you to be smart? So eat of the tree of knowledge. That's it. So Eve and Adam used actually they didn't. They made the choice with the help of the snake to choose to separate from the tree of life and just connect with the tree of knowledge, good and evil, which is physical materiality. And how do you know? Because what was the next thing that happened? Besides the blame game, but we don't want to go there. Simple. They were naked, and it says, and God made them clothes. But the Kabbalists say it wasn't clothes like we think here. Clothes gave them flesh and blood. Up to that point, they were ethereal beings, almost, like spirits. But as soon as they separated from the tree of life, then came the digestive system, all the physiology, flesh and blood, and everything that's associated with that. And then we split into 8 billion bags of flesh. But it's still one soul. So free will. Now, the interesting thing is, and be careful, let me finish before your mind jumps, because that snake, that opponent in your head is going to jump you there. The Kabbalists teach that thing called the snake, it's actually nachash is the right word, not necessarily a snake, because okay, I'm going to go off on a tangent. Focus. My Libra kicking in here. It says that this thing, the nachash, had the form of a human being. In other words, Adam and Eve had forms of human being, ethereal, and this nachash also had an ethereal form of a human being. Good, you're not thinking it, so that's a good thing. Which means what? In our terms, what does it mean for us? If you really think about it, when a person's caught up in a difficult situation, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? Do you see you or do you see somebody else? In the simple terms. I mean, I look in the mirror, I see my face. I may have other things to say, but it's my face. You follow? I recognize I don't see your face in my mirror. So if you think that's what the Zohar, the Kabbalists are teaching us, that this thing called the snake, the challenger, was of the same form. It's like Eve looking in the mirror, Adam looking in the mirror. So where, as we always remind you, where is the snake? Where is the challenger? Where is the enticer? In fact, This, I don't know why, since 2000, and we had the English Zohar. The first time after, what is it now, 23 years, I saw one verse in the Zohar this week. It called a new name for this thing, the opponent, the adversary, Satan, the devil, Lucifer, you got all those names, right? Saboteur, sabotage. We came down here to just have eternal bliss by sharing our light 24/7, and it came in to sabotage us. With you and me as Adam and Eve, eat of the tree of knowledge, separate from the tree of life, right? So who do we, it's here. This is our enemy, in our brain, the voice of that opponent. But when you look in the mirror, it looks like you. That's what the story's telling us. That it wasn't some outside force. It was the inside force. You ever play sports? What do you try and do to the opposing team? Yeah, you try and win on the physical, but what do you try and do first? Psych them out. Make fun of them, call them names, whatever you can do to psych them out. Right? Because if you win here, then their skill level drops and you're probably going to win on the outside. If a person loses here, then they're going to do the reactive thing and have all the trouble and chaos. Just make more mess. So the only enemy we have is the opponent in our head, the saboteur in our head, the enticer in our head that's enticing us to disconnect from the light and seek instant gratification. So you and I are the ones who've created everything in this world. If we had no free will, there'd be no Satan, no opponent, no nothing in our head. But then at the same time, there'd be no fun. I'm just checking. Because everyone's going, yeah, I wish I hadn't made that choice. Somebody should have told me what to do. I wish I hadn't done that thing. I wish they told me what to do. You understand? So sometimes we like our free will and we demand it, and sometimes we don't want it. No, God, why don't you come in and take away my free will and just do this for me? No. Again, go back to the kid. The kid sits down, parents told him, clean up your room, and said, I'm just waiting for God. Mom, Dad, you always told me I should pray to God to do what I want to have done, so I'm praying to God to clean up my room. Well, thank God we're in the Kabbalah Center. We understand that's not the way it works. We have the power of the Creator. It's up to us to make the mess, undo the mess. Collectively, individually, quantum, micro, or macro. It's all in our hands, nobody else. Now, if our inherent nature is desire to receive, and our secondary nature, so to speak, is the sharing, which is going to be easier for us to do. I'm left-handed. If you throw a ball for me to catch, right, sort of unexpectedly, which is going to be easier for me to reach out with, my left or my right hand? My left. But if I practice enough, if I train enough, I make enough effort, I could then reach out first with my right hand, go against my inherent nature. That's why we're here. Our inherent nature receive. We're here just to share. Share, go against your nature. Go against your nature all the time. All the time. So we have to fix our mistake. Because from Adam and Eve, what did we do? We added to the mess in the world. You realize before Adam and Eve, which again, don't blame them, that's you and me. Our soul was in that being of Adam and Eve. And then we just split into 8 billion individual pieces. But we're still one soul. So we were there. We were there making that choice, right, to separate and create all the chaos. Before that, there was no death. There was no chaos. Garden of Eden. What is Garden of Eden? Can you imagine Garden of Eden with a little mess? Hurricanes, fires, floods, crime. No, Garden of Eden was utopia, heaven on earth, eternal bliss. Right? That's where we were. We had that opportunity. All we had to do is that one defeat over the opponent in our head. Don't disconnect the physical from the spiritual. Keep them together. So we live in the physical world guided by the light. That's what we're here to do. We're not here to disconnect ourselves from the physical world. No, we're here to live in the physical world and overcome the taunting of the opponent in our head, that saboteur, and just act like the light. And the beauty is the more we act like the light, the more blessing we get, the less chaos there is. So it's still coming back to us. Now, what do you do with people who become so connected to their opponent that they don't even realize what they're doing? Not that you and I have ever been in that situation, right? The Rav used to make fun sometimes. You know, how many of us can drive? You drive the same way, you know, home, work, work, home, work, home, like this. How many times have you ever left your house and the next microsecond you're at work and you think, my God, how did I get here? Right? It's a 10-minute drive and you're not even conscious of how you got there. So there I would say, who was driving the car? If your mind was somewhere else, who was driving? The body was on automatic pilot. So we all get into those moments in various ways. Automatic pilot, automatic pilot. Okay. So at that moment, we are unconscious. And in the unconsciousness, everything stays the same. Nothing changes for the better. So I wanted you to realize when we say free choice doesn't mean, like I used to do with my sister, when my parents would say, oh, if you're angry, count 10. So while I'm counting 10, I think, okay, should I steal her barrette? Should I take her doll? You know, should I just hit her? Should I pinch her? You know, I'm just thinking of all the reactive things I could do to her. Nothing changed. It was just a delay of that reactivity. That's not a real free choice. Real free choice is between sharing and receiving, acting like the light or acting like the vessel. That's the only choice there is. Thousands of ways either one could look, but that's the only choice. Path of the light, path of the illusion. Path of chaos, path of order. Path of curse, path of blessings. That's it. That's our choice. And every decision that we make determines that. And like we said, if a person just does something reactive, they may choose, right, between hitting them, pinching them, you understand the metaphor, but then everything stays the same. And unfortunately, actually, it becomes even a little more chaotic. Because now you add an extra thing you have to make up for. The word for making up for or fixing our mistakes, Kabbalistically, is called tikkun. Just those of you who read the book or listen to the classes, you all understand the idea. Tikkun just means correction. You fix your mistake, right? You erase it and you rewrite it. So it's perfect. That's it. That's our job. So every mistake we made, it's another mistake we got to fix. You get the idea? That's why even just being reactive. So reactive is not a real free will choice because that's our inherent nature. Gimme, 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 gimme. So what's victory over our opponent? Real victory in life is when we're feeling jealous, we act with gratitude. When we're feeling resentful, we act in passion. When we're feeling angry, we act with forgiveness. When we're feeling hatred, we act with love. Now again, that doesn't mean you lay down, let everybody walk all over you. Please, never, ever. You look at Moses, was one of the highest people ever to exist. But he wasn't a patsy. He never just laid down and said, come, take care, take advantage of me. No, but he was the most humble man, which means he was a pure channel of light. So nobody took advantage of him. But at the same time, the people who were negative had no affinity with him. You want to keep negative people away from you? Remember the law of affinity. If you have anger, jealousy, ego, greed, like that, fear, guilt, shame, you're going to attract some aspect of that in other people, in things around you. So you want to get rid of all the chaos and then people? Shine so much light, opposites repel. Opposites repel, not like. If you hate hateful people, handcuffed. You're jealous of jealous people, feel people are controlling, that's a control freak. Why are you saying that? Because you lost the battle of control. You wanted to be in control, you lost, so now you're going to call them a control freak. You understand? Only opposites will repel. So you want to, what is chaos? The mess that you make in your house versus order. Same or different? Opposites or the same? Opposites. Okay, that's why they look different. That's why you're happy with the orderly, even if it's like me, a little bit of chaotic order. At least other people define it as chaos. I could always find everything on my desk. My mom used to punish me basically, open one drawer, put everything in the one drawer. Couldn't find anything. I had to sort it back into my chaotic order. But for me, it was order. I saw the order in what she called chaos. Again, consciousness is everything. So it was a battle, right? My consciousness versus hers, but not versus her. What did I have to, oh my goodness. Thank you, Mom. I had to learn how to be peaceful when she did that because it used to bug me. I never said anything, but it used to bug me like this. Now I got to go through it. No, that's what I had to learn, right? How to take it and either deal with it there or just make it again, what have you. That's what we're here to learn. How can I grow and elevate? Not how I can make them do less of the things that bother me. Did you get that? It's not about how do I make other people do what I want them to do so I'm not bothered. I just want to make sure. Because you and I have to start setting a stronger pattern for the rest of the world. Because where each of us go, it's like we're all tied together. Right? So wherever the majority of energy, not people necessarily, will go, the rest of the world will be drawn that way. So if you see most of the people falling off the cliff of anger, jealousy, greed, resentment, hatred, violence, etc., they're starting to pull everyone else. Well, thank goodness you and I learn here we have the power of the Creator inside of us, the power of infinite creation. We created this universe, and everything in it, we maintain it. Oh, now I hear the doubts. So let me ask you, are you making your liver work right now? While you're listening to these words, are you saying, okay, liver, function? You telling your kidneys how to function? They're doing by themselves. So in the same way, the infinite light of the Creator in our soul is causing the cycles of astronomy to go. The way the sun and the moon turn and the planets go and all the configuration of the astrological signs, all of that, how the plants grow, everything. We are creating it and empowering it also unconsciously. But at least in a orderly manner. Unconscious is the orderly manner of nature. Unconscious is the orderly manner of the way the body works. It's only when we let our opponent get us, and forgive me, but just get the idea, we eat wrong, we do the wrong things, and then the body says, what? So when a person has a stomach ache, do they say, I don't want to use did they start cursing? Well, they may curse. But if you have a stomach ache, what are you going to do? Why is there a stomach ache? This is what I wanted to get to. Why do we have challenges? Why do we have to have pain? Because if we don't understand why pain and chaos show up, you can't get rid of it. But you think about it. What is a stomach ache trying to tell us? Is it there just to punish us? Look, your body's talking. You know, like you see in some of these commercials or cartoons, the body's talking. I didn't like what you fed me. So here, let me get you. Stomach ache, indigestion. No, what's that supposed to be telling us? You did something wrong. You did something against the system. That's it. You put your hand on a hot stove. Why do you have pain? Because you did a foolish thing. You put your hand on a hot stove. That's it. The Kabbalists teach us pain. Pain is only there to wake us up that we've been doing something wrong. The sad part is the opponent keeps coming and say, oh, but if you try the same wrong thing in a different way, like I told you, instead of slapping your sister, pinch her. Instead of pinching her, take her favorite doll. I don't know, take her hair braid, make fun of her in front of her friends. Just some other way, but it's still the same stupid thing. It's still giving in and creating chaos. And it's more chaos for me than it was for her. So we have to wake up. Why is there pain in this world? Because we're all doing in some level the wrong thing. We all came out of the endless world. We signed an eternal contract. You know, there's movies and stories about signing the soul over to the devil and stuff like that. No, we created an eternal contract with the Creator when we left the endless world, said we're coming down here, and as we will shine our light 24/7, we will have eternal bliss. That's a contract. So that anything goes against a contract, when we eat of the tree of knowledge, when we give into jealousy, greed, ego, fear, guilt, shame like that, it goes against a contract. So we get taken to the spiritual court, if you want to call it that. Some kind of challenge comes our way. Some kind of pain happens. So we wake up and we say, please, let's just use it in the way I'm going to use it here. These are wake-up calls. Isn't it interesting that some of the terminology that we use today, woke, like somebody just woke up. Yeah, well, sadly, sometimes when you wake up in the morning, you're a little grumbly, no? So think of that. We're learning here challenges, pain, suffering, the chaos of the world is to wake us up to realize we've been making a mess. And it's us doing it. It's nobody else. We're doing it. So if we made the mess, we can undo the mess. But I can only do my piece. You can only do your piece. The reason why Karen created the Kabbalah Center with the Rav's lineage of Rav Branway and Rav Ashlag all the way back, like we talked last week, was so that we could gather people together. And when I do my piece, united with you, and you're doing your piece, united with everyone else around the world, we can create miracles. We can transform the planet. That's the point. But if we don't realize pain and suffering is to wake us up. And this is why Karen always taught us, you have to feel the pain of other people. If you don't feel the pain of other people, then sometimes our own pain is just going to drive us to do more reactive things instead of proactive sharing things. Feel the pain of somebody else, the other part of your soul that's out there. Once you feel their pain, like a hot stove, you'll do something to remove it. And what's the only way you can remove darkness? And I know I will be saying it like I've heard it for 37 years. I'll keep saying it over and over again. In the physical world, what's the only way to remove darkness? The only way. Can you buy it with money? Can you tell them how powerful you are? Can you tell them how much weight you lift, how many miles you can run? How do you get rid of darkness? Light. Simple. It's simple. It's not difficult. In fact, Karen's book, Simple Light. Simple light, that's it. The first line of what people call the most difficult, complicated part of Kabbalah, 10 luminous emanations, about the tree of life, 10 sphirot. First line, the pure, simple light. The light is simple. It just shares unconditionally. It expands to whatever vessel we will give it. In other words, like these lights can only essentially go to the wall. If you move the wall back 10 feet, these lights would shine an extra 10 feet. So it's not limitation on the light, it's limitation on the vessel. That's why you and I are learning how can I remove my garbage? How can I change my chaos so there's more room for the light? That's it. The light has no limitations. It's only we do. We have the limitations. So we got to start waking up and realize we've been filled with the power of the Creator. So I'll give you a story and then, because remember, if everybody has the light of the Creator in them, and we're all connected, then if we simply start shining light on every human being on earth, everyone, especially the ones who are doing the bad stuff, because you want to take away the intense negativity that we even call evil actions, you got to shine the greatest amount of light. You and me, we may need 5, 10 watts of light to overcome some of our jealousy, ego, fear, whatever it may be. But people out there who are doing externally all the really horrible stuff, they may need 1,000,000 watts of light. But if 1,000,000 people sent 1 watt of light, boom, they suddenly change and they'll be more godlike, kind, loving, compassionate. Light's the only thing will take away the darkness. So there's a nice story, and I'll try and make it quick because I see the time. There was one of the great Kabbalists who sort of came to be the spiritual leader of this town because nobody wanted to be there, because there was one evil behaving person. In other words, this one man, and this is back, let's say, in the 1700s, that time. So if he wanted something done and the spiritual leader, whoever was leading the town, didn't listen, he'd just go to the government, inform on them, tell a lie, whatever it was. And of course, back in those days, the person that he didn't like would suddenly disappear. You follow? So nobody wanted to be the spiritual leader. So they finally got a Kabbalist to come. So of course, the Kabbalist did what was right with the light that irked this guy. They called him the informer. That's how the story goes. So he comes to the Kabbalist. He says, that's it. I'm going to get rid of you. This is your finished, like this and this. The Kabbalist connected to the light. Do what you want. If I'm in the light, you can't bring darkness. So one day he and the Kabbalist and his assistant, they're out in the fields, whatever it was, they're walking, home or wherever they were going. All of a sudden they hear this guy, the informer. He's on a horse. He's waving this sword. He's coming, I'm going to kill you. I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to get you, like this. And of course, the assistant, who's been in the town for a while, starts running to hide behind the bushes. And the Kabbalist just starts. He starts staring, just looking, focused, concentrating. The guy's getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And you can see the guy behind the bush. He's shaking terribly what he's going to do. Why isn't this guy running? He's looking. All of a sudden, the horse stops. The guy throws his sword aside. He jumps off the horse, and he runs and he bows to the feet of this Kabbalist. He says, please forgive me. What can I do to make my tikkun? What can I do to fix all the mistakes I've ever made? And then obviously on goes the thing. So the assistant comes over to the Kabbalist. He says, what did you do? I mean, I know this guy for years, and, he was coming to kill you. I've seen that before. He says, I just looked inside of him. I saw the light of God, and I just woke it up. And from that, we understand this idea. It's one of the many stories of the Kabbalists. You wake up the light in a person, they can't help themselves but behave with greater love, kindness, and compassion. Because that's the force of the light. And if you bring light in any dark situation, darkness can't fight. It just disappears instantaneously. So this is the way the story goes. So we just have to start waking up urgency. Urgency, urgency, urgency. And I know, it's funny. Over all the years, and you go back every generation, there's always something. You go back to Noach, and I think I'd said it last week also. Noach for 300 years was warning people about the flood. Of course, now our logic will say, well, of course, after a year or two, people are going to make fun of Noach, right? No flood in 2 years. Come on, Noach. You're an idiot. Noach building the ark for 120 years. You're an idiot. Look, sunshine, this, that, and other thing. 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I mean, I could almost justify that. But he was warning you better change, right? You go through every major destruction. There was always, the Zohar says, always comes the solution before the problem. Always comes the cure before the ailment. Think, have you never had that situation? As you're walking out of your house, a thought comes to you? Whatever it is, go back and get something, do something, and you say, no, I already left. And then 20 minutes later, sometime during the day, say, I should have listened. You understand? Always comes a solution before the problem, major or minor. Rav Ashlag, it's a very famous and sad story. In the early 30s, Rav Ashlag, the founder of the center, wrote to all the rabbis of Europe. He said, you must be learning Zohar. Zohar, 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 because I can see the black cloud forming over Europe. And he writes in the introduction to the Zohar, he says, but sadly they didn't listen. So like a line of 1,000 blind people, says if the leader of that line has sight, he can take them through without falling into the pits or whatever. He says, but even if the leader is blind, then they'll all fall. And he says, that's what happened with that generation. So hello, let's wake up. We have to have a sense of urgency. And like we said, and this is why I wanted to bring it to our attention, no excuse. I am no way, shape, or form excusing the bad actors for their behavior. From our point of view, what you and I are hopefully learning on a higher, stronger, more impactful level, all the pain and suffering in the world is to wake us up. I mean, it was typical in LA. I grew up in LA. Earthquake country. So I remember every time there was an earthquake, especially the 94 earthquake, you have people, I'm sure here in Boca also, or wherever you live around the world, you're in a apartment complex or something like that. How many neighbors really say hello, get to know each other? No. Comes an earthquake, maybe in Florida, used to be, thank goodness we've avoided them, prevented them, hurricanes, all of a sudden when the earthquake came and there was damage to a building, 94, buildings collapsed. Neighbors who never talked to each other, not that they were unfriendly, but the usual, I'm busy with my life. All of a sudden, come to my house, let me give you water, let me help take care of you, this and this. 9/11, people came from all over the world to come dig. But how long did that last? A year, 6 months? You follow? Then back to normal, the sad normal. You get that? No, it's time to start waking up now. We've been given the cure. I told you last week, I'll keep reminding you. Now we're up to 4 weeks since the major event in the Middle East. We have given away worldwide over 100,000 Zohars, books of the Zohar. Last year, in the whole year, we gave 100,000 away. We were able to do in 4 weeks more than we did in a whole year. Why? Because there was a wake-up call. People, for whatever reason, there were some people, the other conflicts, the other things that happened a few months earlier or whatever it is now, a year, woke a lot of people up also. The center, suddenly we were spreading Zohar all over those areas. More people there who weren't doing woke up. Because why? It's personal. Their place was being invaded. Their place, whatever. You understand? When it gets personal, suddenly we'll wake up. If it's my hand on the hot stove, I have a little more urgency than if it's your hand. What you and I are learning today, what I'm encouraging you, is we need to work together to feel, I should feel the pain when your hand goes on the hot stove as if it's mine. Then I'm preventing mine from having to be on the hot stove. If we're helping to prevent what's going on out there, more light, more Zohar, then our hand doesn't have to be on the hot stove. We don't have to go through those things because we've already paid them back. What's more powerful than to save a life? You save a life, they say you save a world. Even in some of the ancient traditions, if a person saves somebody's life, they were indebted for the rest of their life to that person. So you save the life, every Zohar goes out, it's got to be at least 10, 15 lives that are being changed. The person who has it, the people around them, the people that are impacted with, kinder, nicer, like more love, kindness, and compassion instead of more anger, jealousy, and ego. Right? 6 degrees of separation, is that what we say? Touches the whole world. So if you have 6 degrees of separation, now you're giving people Zohar, the most powerful conduit. What did I call it last week? Fiber optic from the endless world. The most powerful conduit of the light of the endless. Light takes away darkness. Once you take away the darkness, everybody sees the truth, the reality. Now nobody's going to be angry, jealous, ego, fearful, all of that. Nobody's going to do dastardly things because they'll see in their own eyes. If there's no darkness, they'll see when they help somebody, when they forgive somebody, they get 10 times the blessing. When they give charity, they get 10 times in return. When you see that, which thief is going to steal? No, they're going to go give away the money. They used to steal money. Now they're going to go give it away because they see in their eyes all the money they stole, they lost 10 times the amount. Everything that they gave as charity tithing, they got 10 times in return. They're not stupid in that way. They're stupid like you and I are stupid when we're in the cover of darkness. And we don't see the light, then we think, oh, I can get away with this. But a very nice story. There's always somebody, I don't want to tell this story, now it's really late. There's always somebody above watching, so to speak. The cosmos is recording us. Everything. I know that 37 years just in the center. Can I tell you there's nothing I do at home? I'm kind of like, really? Really? People are watching. People are watching. Why would you do that thing? Don't worry, nothing really, really bad, but silly stuff. But I still think to myself, why? Because if I think about that they're watching, it boosts for me the strength to transform from the receiving. Because like I told you, I used to bite my nails, instant gratification, right? But now, so thank goodness, now I use it for my kids because I have a couple of them do the same thing. So I say, look, if I can do it, you could do it, right? Anyway, so just in closing, one thing that we really, I would encourage you to do, the challenger, that opponent in our head, we gave it the job to challenge us, to taunt us so that we will have to exert ourselves to share. But what the center's teaching us is, why shouldn't we, or we should be thinking about it, making the effort, voluntarily challenge yourself. You have that person at work you don't get along with, tomorrow, go to them and even if it's just smile, say, hi, how are you? I wish you a good day. Goes against what you wanted to do, goes against how you've been acting, right? The driver who doesn't drive the way you like, don't wait for them. While you get on the street, start already blessing everybody. I bless you, safe driving, safe travels, things like that. So you're already putting more light out. You don't have to have the painful challenge to wake up and then say, oh, now what am I going to do? Rabbi Shimon, the author of the Zohar, the channel of the Zohar, it says he ran after the angel of death. Even though he was absolutely perfect, he had no tikkun in this world. The only thing he came was to bring us the Zohar. But he still, in case I don't see, he ran after the angel of death. The Zohar says the angel of death had to run to God. Because the angel of death also works on a cause and effect. It says in the Zohar, the angel of death has to ask permission from the cosmos to take souls. Because it's cause and effect. It's not random. The angel of death has no free will. Angels don't have free will, even the angel of death. A person has to have done so much stuff in whatever way that the angel of death is given permission to take the soul. So Rabbi Shimon ran after the angel of death. The angel of death had to go to God. Say, look, you got to get Rabbi Shimon out of the world. He's not letting me do my job. I have a job to do. Taunt them and challenge them so they will be able to earn the tree of life. They'll be able to earn eternal bliss. And if Rabbi Shimon's there, I'm so busy running away, I can't do for the rest of the people. And then they're stuck in all their garbage. So the voice comes out of heaven, basically in this story, and God tells Rabbi Shimon, and remember, God means metaphorically, but says you got to leave the world. Rabbi Shimon says, when I'm ready. And he left, if some of you know, it's called Lag BaOmer, the 33rd day of the Omer, which is the 18th day of Taurus. He chose the day to go and he left. So you and I can do the same thing. And that's what we want to wake up. If we use the power of the Creator inside of us, we can. We just proved it. 4 weeks, we did a year's worth of work. Why can't we in a year do 100 or 200 years worth of work? Spread the Zohar. If we will unite ourselves, wake up, unite ourselves. Because in unity and actions of greater love, kindness, and compassion, spreading the Zohar, transforming ourselves, living our individual lives stronger on a higher level, there's no reason that we can't reveal enough light to remove all the darkness. Like we said, once all the darkness is gone, everybody will see, they'll see the prison they're in. They will have a sense of urgency to get out of that prison. They will act with greater love, kindness, and compassion. As the clouds of darkness go away, we'll all start to see the entrance to the Garden of Eden that we lost when we got kicked out. The entrance was hidden. It wasn't destroyed. Take away the darkness, a critical mass, we call it, of actions of light. So there's a critical mass of light. Suddenly we'll not only see the entrance, but everybody will find a way to enter in to the Garden of Eden in love, kindness, and compassion, in unity, and then we can all just live in heaven on earth eternally. God bless. Okay. Yes, that was the end. Okay. So before we do our meditation, those of you who are with us, yes, we know we're going to do our meditation here. But the first thing we do, again, I know I say it often, but we can't do this without your help. I mean, I could do this. I could speak into the camera or whatever you want to say, but we can't change the world by ourselves. That's the whole point. It takes unity. We're one soul. The more of the one soul we gather together, and the more we all do, the faster it happens. So this is why we take this time to bless our offering. Whatever you can give, and a little extra. That's it. So whatever you decided, push yourself a little extra. Whatever extra you could do. A lot extra is also good, but whatever you can do, and make sure, even on the individual level. Next week we won't be here because we have now an international Day of Unity. We did sort of more locally last week, right? That's why some of you remember there were people here just before we started. There are people who went out to go spread Zohar. So next week we have Michael Berg giving a consciousness, and then all of America, South America, North America are going to go in unity. A global day of unity spreading the Zohar.
So no Sunday.
We will have online, but we won't be here in person because it's going to start at 11. So I'm going to live stream from my house, and then I'm going to come and do this myself, to go out. But at least get some of these. Get some. Hand them out to your neighbors. Find people you're friendly with. Find people you meet on the street. How many times you go shopping, you happen to, start a conversation with somebody, you just get the feeling. Say, look, I'm a student of Kabbalah. I'd like to give you a gift of this holy book that just shines the light of God for blessing, peace, and protection. Yes, yes, no, no. They don't want it? Okay, don't force them. But if they want it, give it. You just saved their life and impacted all of their family and friends. Think of that. One Zohar could do that. So imagine what, like now, we're up to 100,000. Our goal is over 1 million this year. And more. Let's just put it that way. 1 million is the first step. But at the rate we're going, it shouldn't be, if we'll keep the consciousness and the urgency, there's no reason why we can't do 5 or 10 million this year. It just takes more and more of us have a greater sense of urgency. And it's time, like the Bible says, see the writing on the wall. Look what's going on around the world. In our lifetime, okay, most of us here, I don't know about everybody out there, but most of us in our lifetime have seen chaos go from a few places in the world, literally, to in every way, shape, or form, everywhere. There's no place on earth that there's not conflict, but like really intense, right? Vehement conflict. My way or the highway. Believe me or else. All right, see the writing on the wall. It's already coming. So let's stop it before it gets here. So let's just take your offering, those of you online. Yes, I did. I'll do it again. I'll put it, okay, where is it? Paste the link so you can give after we finish. So just hold your offering. Remember, money is a vessel, so the light and the blessing you put in it is what it'll send out through the projects of the center, spreading the Zohar, bringing people to raise consciousness with this wisdom. So we just want to inject our love, our blessing, and our appreciation for the power the Creator's given us. And now, through what we learn here, a greater and greater awareness of the power we have, the truth of our being, that we are pure and perfect beings of light. And that no matter what we've done, reactively in a negative way, as we make use to and make the actions to reveal more and more light, that effort of transformational sharing, everything with the power of light can be transformed and repaired as if it never happened. And so we send this gift out through the Kabbalah Center to reach the heart and soul of 8 billion people on the planet, to wake them up to the power of the Creator in them and the blessings of acting more and more like the light, greater love, kindness, and compassion. And we know that blessing will come back to us many, many times over, the right way, the right time, the right situations. And together we say, Amen. Okay, so let's do, those of you here, those of you online, this is what's called one of the 72 names of God. For those of you in the room, you look to your left, you see all 72. The Hebrew letters, what you see in front of you, Vav, Shin, Resh. Each one is a portal of light, or a conduit of light, or a photon of the light of the Creator. It just shines light. It's not about a word. In fact, if you read Hebrew, you know this is not a word. It's just a combination of energies. And these three help us break the cycle. We've been in a cycle for over 5,000 years. Chaos, a little bit of relief, then more chaos, a little bit of relief, more chaos, a little bit of relief. So we want to break the cycle by revealing so much light through our actions, through spreading the Zohar, that we break the cycle and we just have heaven on earth. Vav, Shin, Resh. So just let the shapes be engraved in your mind's eye. Let the light that's shining travel through your eyes, which are windows to your soul, to the DNA of the Creator inside you. Vav, Shin, Resh. Okay? If I can ask you, sit comfortably in your chair, feet flat on the floor, hands on your lap. Please make sure your phones are off. Taking a few deep breaths, breathe in through the nose, hold your breath for a moment, exhale through your mouth. The physical air in the Bible is called the breath of life because it channels the light of the Creator. So we want to consciously increase that circulation, the light through the breath coming in, and as the breath, the physical air, oxygenates the body, the light of the Creator activates the light in every cell of our being and the essence of the DNA of the Creator in our soul. Allowing yourself to relax, just settle into your seat. Let go of whatever tension, stress you may be feeling, mentally, physically, emotionally. Just relaxing into this surrounding energy of the light of the Creator. Pure unconditional love, the power of light that removes all darkness. Together, let's envision Vav Shin Resh, these 3 nanoparticles of the light of the Creator, just above your head. Vav Shin Resh. See them glowing with the light of the Creator, emanating this vibration of breaking the repetitive cycle of chaos in all of its forms. And slowly allow it to enter through the top of your head and to travel from head to toe, reaching into the light in every cell of your body, transforming any cycle of chaos, repairing it to be in pure alignment with the harmony and order of the light of the Creator. Think of some difficulty, some challenge, especially repetitive pattern you've seen in your life, and bring the Vav Shin Resh to your soul, to your heart, to your mind. Specifically those 3 areas. See, feel the Vav Shin Resh energy activating the power, the awareness, the strength, and the motivation to break that cycle. If you know what you should do to transform it, ask for the strength, the commitment, and the determination to do the actions that will break that cycle and turn chaos to order and darkness to light. If you're not sure what to do, then truly open your heart, open your mind, surrender to your soul's energy, and ask for guidance and clarity and direction to break that cycle of chaos, pain, and suffering. And listen with open ears and an open heart and an open mind to what your soul shares with you. And now, from our heart, together we send a beam of light, Vav Shin Resh energy, breaking the collective human cycle of chaos, negativity, hatred, and violence. Send that beam to the heart and soul of every human being on earth. We send it out through the one soul spiritual internet that is direct access to the soul, the DNA of the Creator in each of us. Send it with love and care. that it wakes up the love and the care and the power of the Creator inside each person. Feel the joy and the happiness that's being awakened in you and in them. Understanding that as we wake that joy and that happiness of the light of God inside us and them, it's removing our desire for instant gratification. It's overcoming the thoughts, the temptation of that saboteur in all our heads. It is giving us clarity and direct connection to the tree of life inside us. And drawing together in love and unity, all of the one soul of which we are all a piece. See in your mind's eye the clouds of darkness disappearing from the world, from the universe, that we all see, envision, and bring closer and closer to full manifestation, heaven on earth, all of us living in the Garden of Eden, in peace, in unity, and guided by the consciousness of love your neighbor as yourself. Record this feeling, the energy, the awareness, the revelations you've had, that it stays with you from this moment forward. Committing yourselves, all of us, to follow through with what we've been told, how we've been guided, so that we each have more and more of our piece of the Garden of Eden, bringing the world into that state. Taking one more deep breath, anchoring and solidifying this new awareness consciousness, and slowly exhale and open your eyes. God bless. Have an amazing week. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. If you liked what you saw, subscribe to this channel that you'll be notified when we post new videos. Share the video with your friends, they can also benefit. And check out the website, www.kabbalah.com, that's Kabbalah, for hundreds of articles and classes. Wish you an amazing day, and God bless.